Let's get going here, folks. So once again, welcome to our session this afternoon. We're going to be talking about the lead generation crisis for loan officers. And during this session, we're going to present you with a 5-step process that will help you insulate yourself, protect yourself from what's coming around the corner here. And for many of you may have already begun. Okay. So as we go along, here's what we're going to cover. What is this problem that we've been talking about? So we kind of hinted at it a little bit in the email that brought you here initially, or if you clicked on one of my posts or one of my ads. We're going to talk about how the problem began, because that certainly will play a significant role in how we solve the problem. And then I'm going to give you some simple steps that you can take to protect yourself, and then give you strategies that will accelerate the results of those 5 steps. Okay. While we get started here, folks, why don't you let me know in the chat box? Tell me what you're doing for lead generation currently. What's your big problem? What's your big challenge right now when it comes to lead generation? Are you advertising yourself online? In other words, are you doing things like running Facebook ads? Are you engaging in SEO? Are you paying for leads? Where is the bulk of your marketing dollars going to currently? Why don't you tell me a little bit about that in the chat box as we get started here, because that'll give me a good idea of where the bulk of you are at this moment. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you guys here something in just a second. Let's talk a little bit about the problem. Okay. So again, we hinted at it in the email, but really the big problem, and you'll see here in just a moment why it's about to get much, much bigger, is the cost of advertising digitally is rising at a faster and faster pace. Okay. In fact, I'll show you guys here in just a moment, the cost for the specific niche of finance has actually risen at anywhere from double to triple the pace of most other industries. Not all, but most other industries. So that is a big problem. Facebook has also already come out and announced that they're running low on inventory. So if you actually Google this, you'll see that not only did Facebook discuss this, but a lot of other individuals in the PPC industry have talked about how Facebook is having difficulty actually serving up the volume of ads that companies are demanding. So in other words, what's happening is you get all these companies out there throwing advertising dollars out there saying, hey, here's who we're looking to target. Here's how much we're willing to pay. But Facebook is running out of the inventory, or in other words, people to advertise to. There's more people looking to advertise than there's people to advertise to. So whenever we run into tight inventory problems like this, challenges like this, what's the knee-jerk reaction? What happens in response? Well, whenever you have tight inventory, high demand never equals low cost, does it? Instead, it's higher costs. When there's more demand than there is of the product that they're looking to pay for, costs go up. And they don't just typically go up, they go up a lot. And all we have to do to get a really clear, crystal clear understanding of this is take a look at Google AdWords. How many of you guys remember back in the early 2000s what Google AdWords was like? What was the difference between Google AdWords then and Google AdWords now? You could get away with paying a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies, right? and you get a very positive ROI for those 2 to 3 pennies cost per click. It was very, very easy to just jump out there with a few bucks in your pocket, because when you're getting clicks for 2 cents and 3 cents, 100 clicks is just going to cost you a couple bucks. But now what happens if you're in the mortgage industry and you want to run ads? Well, mortgages makes it into the top 5 highest cost per click average of any niche out there when it comes to Google AdWords. I remember helping folks run campaigns where we're getting 2-3 cents clicks. Now you're lucky if you can get it below $20. And what happened? Well, because of the fact that this kind of advertising works, because you can drill down on exactly who you want to market to, people are willing to pay a lot of money to get those clicks because they're very targeted. So the cost went up. And Facebook has even come right out and said that they've patterned their advertising platform after Google AdWords. They're doing and making the same judgment calls as Google did back in the early 2000s. So they're on pace to go up again and again and again, especially now that we're running into these major inventory problems. Okay. And for 2019, it's estimated that 543,000 new businesses are going to jump on board who are first-time advertisers. 500, so it's over 500,000 companies out there that previously weren't allocating any advertising dollars onto the Facebook ads platform, now saying, yes, we're going to start spending advertising dollars on the Facebook ads platform because we've heard all these wonderful things about it. So you have over 500,000 new competitors. And part of what you pay is dictated by how many other people are looking to pay to get in front of those same individuals. So that's set to be a very serious problem for individuals who are already noticing the high cost of running ads compared to even just 2 or 3 years ago. All right. So one other thing is I took a little excerpt from an article that was written about this very topic. And it was accompanied by all sorts of wonderful graphs and infographics and charts showing really what's happened over the past 10 years. But the big 500-pound gorilla in the room had always been television advertising, right? That's really what everybody aspired to be able to do, is to run ads on TV. And most of these big businesses, the bulk of their advertising would go to television, radio, and so forth. But recently, online advertising not just overtook television advertising, but just absolutely blew past it, to where most of these companies have been taking more and more of their advertising budget away from television, radio, and traditional media and putting it into online advertising, so that online advertising is not just the winner as far as how many advertising dollars are being thrown at it, but it's just absolutely blows away second, third, and fourth place. So in other words, competition is about to get much, much more difficult, much more competition, not less. Let's take a look at it by the numbers. So this shows the average cost per click by industry. So these are the official numbers here. So we come down here, we got real estate and we got finance. So we can see that the average cost per click, now this was for 2018. The average cost for real estate ads was $1.81. Okay, the click-through rate was, well, less than 1% by far. The average conversion rate, again, still less than 1% by far. Okay, so this is what we're seeing for 2018. For 2018, the finance industry, like I said, finance tends to be much more expensive. And the reason for that is because what people are willing to pay for a click goes up significantly, dramatically, when you have a high ROI, when you have a lot of dollars changing hands. And in the finance industry, a lot of dollars change hands, right? So $3.77 cost per click average. Look at the average click-through rate. Look at the average conversion rate. Now, these are not my numbers. These are the industry averages, okay? So I'll give you guys all the resources if you like, if you want to go and read these same articles and charts and graphs and studies. A lot of this was compiled by WordStream. If you want to go check out WordStream study for 2018 on these averages, but this is industry average numbers, folks. So the fact that this just keeps going up year after year is kind of scary. But the positive thing, the takeaway here, though, the positive takeaway is that these numbers can come down dramatically if you know what you're doing, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have gotten clicks for way less than $3.77, right? So even with a little bit of know-how, you can bring those numbers down dramatically, and that's what we're going to talk about here today, all right? And I just want to reiterate that these numbers going up, these costs going up, this isn't an accident. Facebook has really gone out of their way to push it. One of the first things that they did to drive up the cost was they scaled back organic reach. Back in 2010, 2011, 2012, even 2013 and 2014, you could get a lot of traffic for free because of your organic reach from your Facebook fan page. But Facebook has deliberately scaled it back, not once, not twice, but 3 times they've done big scale backs to the organic reach on Facebook fan page posts. So if you had 10,000 likes or 10,000 followers on your fan page, you could legitimately get thousands and thousands and thousands of views on a regular post. But after they've done the scale back and then the scale back again and then the third scale back, the organic reach is a fraction of what it used to be. And they did this because they knew, hey, the only way we're going to get people to pay for ads is if they don't have any other alternative. They also restructured the news feed to make it more oriented for advertising, right? They restructured it again. Even in early 2018, they made additional changes specifically to find new places for ad inventory. So less about organic, more about advertising. Now, this problem is also amplified by the fact that when you have all these competitors jumping on board running Facebook ads as well, targeting the same people you're targeting, that problem is amplified when they're copying off of each other. They're all looking at what everyone else is doing, and Facebook exasperated this problem when they made it possible for you to pull up a list of every ad your competitors have run. Because now you can actually go into Facebook and see, oh, here's a competitor of mine. Let me look at every single ad he or she has run. And they can do the same thing to you. It takes 5 seconds. So what ends up happening is everybody's just copying off of everybody, driving up costs, competition. Nobody's really getting an edge. So I'm going to show you the solution to that problem here, because this can be very, very frustrating. And the one quick and simple way to provide a solution is to have a wall, a barrier between your competition and you. You got to put a barrier there, guys, so that they can't just come in and knock you off in about 60 seconds flat, because that's what they can do right now. If you ran a killer ad, let's say you put all sorts of time and effort and testing and tweaking into your ad, and you finally got it exactly where you want it, and you're starting to get some really killer numbers in conversion rate, all I have to do is click a button and I can see that ad, and it'll take me about 2 minutes to set up a similar ad, to clone it. And now you have competition. And then somebody can do that to me as well. And then they can do it to them. And it just goes down the line. So what we have to do when we talk about a barrier, we're talking about going places where your competition cannot easily follow you. So in other words, we have to be more strategic in our traffic selection. Here's a really big takeaway that I want you guys to hear me loud and clear on, okay? By the time you see all the quote unquote gurus out there, the Me Too people out there, when they're all saying the same thing about the same traffic source, that's about the time frame where you know that's starting to get saturated, because the copycats have come along. If you're not on the cutting edge, but you're with the masses, if you're a late adopter, basically what that means is you're jumping on board traffic sources by the time all the low-hanging fruit's already been taken and snatched up. And you need to gird yourself for battle, because you're about to get into a battle, because everybody and their brother is being taught the exact same thing. So that's why I'm wanting to teach you guys some new strategies and some new sources here today, so that you're not part of that Me Too copycat crowd. Okay, does that sound good? Everybody on board? Everybody with me? Still hear me loud and clear? All right. So let's talk about traffic sources. And by the way, I don't mean to suggest at any point that Facebook is no longer a good source, just simply that the cost is going up, and it's going to go up more rapidly, but far more so if you don't know what you're doing. There's some specific strategies that will help you drive down the cost. But one of the best strategies is simply to find a new source of traffic that your competition is not going to follow along very willingly. Okay, so that's step number one. Now, what are we talking about as far as traffic sources? Does anybody care to throw a couple guesses out there? How many of you guys are familiar with traffic sources other than Facebook ads and Google ads? Can you guys name any sources of running ads outside of Facebook and Google? Let me know in the chat box. What are some other alternative sources out there that you might be aware of? let's say that I wanted to be different and I wanted to, okay, so Brian, okay, so we got Instagram, okay, so and Instagram is, yeah, technically it is, but at the same time, Instagram is run by Facebook, so, but yeah, you're actually correct there. We got YouTube, we got Yelp, we got another YouTube, we got Bing, Yelp, Yahoo, MSN, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you, Matthew. So exactly. So there's a lot of sources out there. There's a lot of sources out there. So what's happening when everybody's jumping on board the same source? It's because you have this perception that it's easy. And Facebook's done a good job, a pretty good job of setting up a dashboard where you can quickly and fairly easily deploy an ad. A lot of those other sources out there, you guys are 100% correct. Those are alternative sources, but a lot of them aren't quite as user-friendly, are they, when you jump on their dashboard? There's a little bit more of a learning curve to some of them, and that's why people tend to avoid them. But we're going to talk about a couple different traffic sources today, but I'm going to start off by talking to you about what a couple of you have already mentioned, and that's YouTube. We said strategic with our traffic selection, right? So why on earth would I choose YouTube to run ads? Because it's perceived as difficult by the competition. Remember, we need that wall. We need them to run headlong into a barrier. There needs to be a hurdle in their place if they're running along to just knock you off. When you have a winning ad combination, it needs to be more difficult for them to copy. And the perception of running ads on a video platform is that it is not easy. It is hard. People don't like the idea of running video. They don't want to make videos. Nobody wants to stand in front of a camera. Maybe a few of you guys do, but most folks tell me, I don't want to stand in front of a camera. I don't want to go out and buy new equipment. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to traffic sources, we have the capability on YouTube to target to levels that Facebook could only dream of. So when we're being strategic, we've hit several nails squarely on the head. Number one, it's not easy for the competition to follow because they don't want to do video. They want something easy. They want an easy knockoff. So they're going to stick around on their easy peasy platform of Facebook, right? Because they still perceive that as easy. They just think, well, all I need to do is just copy the right ad. I just haven't gotten there yet. So they make excuses why they haven't succeeded yet and say, well, I'm just going to keep copying until I get it right. While you're over here running your ads on a platform that allows you to target individuals who are actively in the market. That's part of the strategic process is we need to target people who have a need, a demonstrated, not just a need, but actually are actively hunting for your services. So we'll talk about some of those filters in just a moment here, but let's look at step two. So that's step number one is we need to pick a more strategic traffic source. Step number two is we have to hyper target. In other words, I want you guys to start getting into micro niches, right? Who can help me out here with some micro niches? When you think of micro niches, what comes to mind? Because we're not talking about reverse mortgages. We're not talking about FHA, VA. What are we talking about when we talk about micro niches? Somebody help me out here. What's an example of a micro niche? Or at least what's your perception of a micro niche? Because there's really no, it's more of a perception question than anything else. So Greg, renovation lending, there we go. Chris says home loans for nurses. Boom, Chris, that's a big one. That's a big one. We've seen some absolute grand slams from that one recently. Brian says getting specific to geographic areas. That's another good one. Brian, that's a really a good one when people self-identify with it too. So if I were to, let's say, for example, target people who specifically want to be near a college, a university, because they have children going to that university. Or people who are relocating, and so they want to live near where they work. These are examples of micro niches, things that people self-identify with. Divorcing couples, says Jane. That really is a big one, and not just for the reason I mentioned, but I'm sure you're already aware of this since you brought it up, Jane. Very, very few lenders really know how to target that niche. They really know how to move forward in that niche because there's some other things that you really have to be understanding of when you're targeting that niche. So that's an awesome one, because that's a huge barrier for your competition to run into. First responder targeting, says Greg, with another good one. Carolyn says new placements and manufactured homes. Jane says empty nesters. So you guys are exactly right. So the question is, why aren't more people going after those niches, right? Why aren't they targeting them in their ads? My guess, I can't answer that question. Only the people who don't target them know the answer. But my guess is a lot of people aren't really quite sure how to find them. Do you feel like that's, how many of you guys agree with me on that? Do you feel like that's probably a reason why a lot of people don't go after those niches, is because they're not really sure how to target them? So I'm getting some yeses here. Yes. Right. And Facebook, here's the beauty of it. When we talk about putting a barrier in front of your competition, talk about an awesome barrier, because we already know that in late 2018, what did Facebook do? Facebook got rid of their third-party data, right? They're targeting. So there's much fewer filters available to those who are just hanging out and using Facebook as their only means of running ads. So if they didn't know how to target them before, when they had hundreds of available filters, now that 75 to 80% of those filters are gone, how much more difficult do you think it is for them to target? Very, very, very difficult. But here's the silver lining, is that on a platform like YouTube, it's actually easy. It's actually one of the easiest things I could possibly do. It would take me all of about 2 minutes to target those exact niches, or micro niches, if you will. So micro niches, now let me throw something out there for you. When we're talking about micro niches, part of what makes micro niches work is that people self-identify. We live in a society of labels these days, right? Everybody's being labeled as this and labeled as that. And instead of fighting those labels, oddly enough, people have kind of sort of embraced it. So when I run an ad that says, hey, we have ads that are, we have loans specifically for first responders. Here's the perfect loan for you. Here's how it benefits you. They go, wow, I'm a first responder. Let me click on this. I mean, it's really easy to generate the clicks because of those labels. People self-identify with it. It's a lot easier than just saying, oh, hey, you looking to buy a home? Because everybody and their brothers use that approach. But when you speak directly to them, it's kind of like if you ran an ad to me that says, hey, do you have health problems? Click here and we're going to solve your health problems. Well, who doesn't have health problems, right? That means nothing to me. But if you say, hey, when you spend more than 5 to 10 minutes of walking each day, do you get this really sharp pain in the bridge and the sole of your foot? Because guess what? I get that. When I see ads about that, I'm clicking on them because I haven't found a solution to it yet. And it drives me nuts because I love hiking. I love long distance walking and jogging and running. But I get this terrible, terrible ache at the center of my foot. It never fails. It drives me nuts. Is that a health problem? Yeah, something I'd like solved, but you got to talk specifics, right? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about micro niches, is we want to be specialists, okay? Let's talk about step number 3, craft a superior message. Let's actually pause right here. So we've already talked 3 things here: a superior traffic source that allows us to target way better than your competition knows how. Number 2, micro niches. And number 3, crafting a superior message. Now, just to roll something like this out is going to be far more than the people who are looking to do easy copycats are willing to do. So you're already far beyond most of their reach. 90% of your competition is going to be unwilling to go to this level. But step number 3 puts you way up on a whole nother pedestal, because 99% of marketing, it isn't just what your ad says. It isn't just how often you say it. It isn't just how many people you have to market to. The true essence of successful marketing is what is in your message. Not just what do you think you're saying to people, but how do they perceive what you're saying? And the problem, guys, really, the problem is that most people never give a second thought to their message. They just think of it in the sense of ad copy. All I need ad copy, something that sounds good and is going to make people want to click. But somebody clicking does not necessarily translate into somebody ending up in your pipeline. But if you have a superior message, if you have a message that truly resonates with people, a huge, huge percentage of those individuals will take that next step and schedule an appointment with you or fill out an application. And unfortunately, most people never take the time to think about their messaging. How are you perceived? So you'll see I put here in the brackets to use video whenever possible. And the reason why I say that is because the absolute superior form of messaging that engages more emotion and gets people to listen longer than any other form of media is video. So if you're trying to beat your competition and go somewhere where they can't easily follow, which means you spend less while they're all spending more and more and more, they're going to get hit with all this rising costs. Whereas you're advertising on a platform where the costs stay much lower because people are too lazy to get in front of a camera and learn how to do it properly. So you should take advantage of that whenever possible. It doesn't mean that all your messages need to be video, but whenever possible, whenever it's feasible for you to craft a superior message, deliver it in the medium that's going to engage people to a much deeper level. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? Why I'm saying this? It's not a 100% requirement, but I'm telling you what, it'll put you beyond the reach of most of your competition. You will be on another level. Okay? So now step number 5 is let's start making better first impressions. And I got to tell you guys, if you want to see proof of this, here's what I want you to do. Go to Google and go to Facebook and go and click on all your competition's ads and go through their funnel and tell me if you walk away with a good first impression or not. I mean, really, how many of you guys think that your competition's out there leaving an awesome first impression to borrowers? With most of them, it's the request is, click here to, to get up put on my list and blah, 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 so, get our weekly newsletter or whatever. I mean, there's really no big offer. There sometimes might be a little, mini guide download or something along those lines. But at no point do I walk away saying, man, that was just really awesome. And they've really personalized that message for me. So how can you do better than them? Well, I'll give you an example. And I'll show you this here in a funnel in just a moment. But one of the best ways that you can is that when a lead comes in, whenever a lead comes in, I don't care whether you think it's a good lead or a bad lead just yet. But if you take the time to fire off a personal message, specifically if you download, if you guys listen to my last webinar where I showed you the software Loom, that's free, completely free. You don't have to buy anything. There's no premium version to pay for. It's just free. It's a free extension, right? Just download the thing, add it to your Google Chrome. You click a button and boom, it instantly starts recording video. And you record a welcome message to that lead that just flew into your pipeline, welcoming them, telling them what to expect, and here's what happens next, and here's a couple freebie tips for you to get you pointed in the right direction. You click done, it gives you a link that you can pop into an email, so they get an email, they click on it, and boom, they're instantly hearing their name. Hey there, Jane, this is Chad Weber, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to fill out my blog, and boom, it's personal. Nobody's fooled by emails that mention them by name, right? We all know about autoresponders these days. Prospects have become more sophisticated as technology has advanced. So actually show you care by making a great first impression, and you will see a huge, huge jump in your conversion rates, okay? So we're going to talk about that more in a moment. And then step 5 is to get a handle on automation. You've got to be using multiple channels of media these days. I no longer follow up with just email and phone calls. It's not even just emails, phone calls, and text messages anymore. We use 4 to 5 different channels of media now to reach out to prospects. And we do that because it works, because sooner or later you're going to hit on a channel of media where they occupy. You can't rely on just one or two anymore. You got to have multiple channels of media. So we'll talk about that in a moment here as well, because I'm going to show you guys a funnel, and a funnel that actually works. Okay. So give me just a moment here. And we are actually going to pull up a funnel. Oops, my apologies. My screen just turned off there because I was trying to pause it, but accidentally clicked stop. Okay, it should be good again. All right, here we go. Okay, folks. So you should be seeing a funnel here. Let me tell you and explain what it is that we are looking at. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this funnel and show you exactly why this is something you should be absolutely stoked and excited by. First of all, let me zoom this so you guys can get a better look. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top of the funnel. So this is what the top of our funnel looks like. The top of the funnel is the point of lead generation. Okay, everybody's clear on that. This is the point at which we capture the lead. So I have 3 entries to my funnel right now. So there's 3 ways that somebody can land in my funnel. Number 1 is if I'm using YouTube, because again, there's more than one traffic source, but let's pretend that I'm using YouTube for this particular example. Then YouTube allows me to target individuals based off of specific websites that they have recently visited. So if I tell YouTube, hey YouTube, only show my ads to people who have recently visited a real estate shopping website, such as Trulia.com, Zillow.com, and Realtor.com. Now I can give YouTube as many of those URLs as I want. I can give them 2 or 3. I can give them 300. I can give them 3,000. If I were really, really ambitious and really needed every single lead captured imaginable, then I could go out there and browse through Google and all my competition and track down all their websites and URLs and give them to Google or give them to YouTube and say, show my ads to anybody who's going to these sites. So anybody that goes to these websites, boom, they're going to see my ad. Anybody that goes to a mortgage comparison site will see my ad. So anybody who's recently gone to Rocket Mortgage, Quicken Loans, Bankrate.com, and again, we talked about micro niches. So we don't necessarily just want to target the big boys. We might want to go and target who are the top companies for FHA loans? Who are the top companies for VA loans? Who are the top companies for reverse mortgages? And now let's drill down even further. When somebody goes and Googles, loans for first responders, loans for firemen and police officers, loans for nurses, loans for teachers, good neighbor next door type programs. What are the top websites they're running into? Because I want to take those websites and I'm going to dump them here in my bucket. So that's who's going to be targeted. That's who's going to see my ads. And let me tell you, it's quite easy. I hate using the word easy, but I think you'll find it quite easy to craft a high converting video ad when you know exactly what the person just walked away from looking at. For example, if I know somebody just got done looking at homes on Trulia or Zillow, when my ad pops up on YouTube, is it just going to be your typical ad? No, it's going to say, hey, if you're looking at homes for sale in St. Louis, Missouri, don't look at another home until you hear what I have to say, because this is going to have a big, significant impact on how you shop for homes. Do you think that might get them to stop and listen? Because my message is so relevant, because it's like, oh, hey, yeah, I did just get done looking at homes. Same thing about Quicken Loans, Bankrate, and Rocket Mortgage. Hey, before you give even your email address to a mortgage comparison website, you might want to hear what they're doing with your personal and private data. Hi, my name's Chad Weber. I'm going to tell you something that you might find a little bit shocking. Boom. Now I start talking to them about it. Do you think I've earned their attention now? Do you see how it's not this big, complicated, scary beast that a lot of people make it out to be? But we like that this perception exists, because it means your competition is not going to be able to follow you. And a lot of people are just so camera shy that even if they know you're absolutely crushing it, they're still not going to lift a finger to record a video of their own. And I'm speaking from experience, because I've been teaching video ads for years, and I can count on my hands the number of people who downloaded my training on it that actually went out and recorded the videos. because it was always the same excuses. So for those of you that are willing to do it, you got one hell of an advantage. So here's the third step, or the third leg, if you will, to entering into the funnel, and that is that they watch a video specifically about loans. So that's another beautiful way to target. Remember, I said that it's really easy to target specific issues, specific micro niches, because now I could tell YouTube not just to target these two things over here, but I can actually go and identify specific videos about specific micro niche topics. And whenever somebody comes in and watches those videos and happen to be within a 50-mile radius of my office, they're going to see my ad, because I can put distance and geographic filters in there as well. So I can stack this targeting with geographic and demographic targeting as well. And does it get any better than that? I mean, that's powerful, right? Do you guys see the value of this? So now, how do we differentiate ourselves even further? Well, so once these individuals watch my ad and they go, okay, yeah, let me click here. What happens? Well, I got about 3 different variations of what happens after they take that first step and click. But one of the latest things that I've been doing that's been absolutely killing it lately is, instead of sending them to a landing page, I send them to a bot. How many of you guys are familiar with bots? You know what I mean when I say bots? Is there anybody that's unfamiliar with the term bot? I just want to make sure that I'm not making assumptions here. Okay. So when we say that we send them to a bot, a bot is basically an application that's automated. Like, let's say it's like a live chat. So sometimes when you go to live chat on a website, it's not a live person on the other line. It's an application. It's a bot. It's a program. And what it'll do is it'll ask you a predefined series of questions to help identify what you're looking for. Now, a couple of years back, when bots first started popping up, specifically around Facebook and Facebook ads, they didn't convert as well in the beginning because people weren't too comfortable with them. But the thing is what's interesting is bots have grown at such a ratio, at such a rate, that they're predicting within the next year to year and a half, the average consumer will spend more time talking to bots than they do to their own spouse. And we're already getting dangerously close to that number now, because bots are showing just massive, massive growth. Do you know why? Does anybody care to take a guess as to why consumers are really liking bots so much? Because even if you don't personally like bots, we're not running ads for you. We're running ads for your consumers, right? For your prospects. And we know that prospects really like them. For the longest time, I had a hard time believing that, running a bot, that a lot of people shopping for mortgages and homes would really want to interact with a bot. But boy, was I wrong after I started really running them. So Virginia says, immediate response. Yes, that's definitely one huge aspect to it. And there's also another big aspect to it as well. Think back to the days of call capture, guys. Remember call capture, the 1-800 hotlines, where you would dial an extension and hear a recorded message about the home for sale or about a specific type of loan? Why did people love those so much? Because they didn't have to talk to a live person. They could get answers to complex questions without having to talk to a live person. Because a properly programmed AI bot, a proper bot, will give them options. So let me give you an example, because there are now bots that are connected through an API that pulls from MLS and will actually help them shop for a home. That's right. And they do a better job statistically than actual live real estate agents. The bots are actually more sophisticated and will help them find a home quicker than a human being can on average, because they have machine learning and they have AI. So what these bots do, just to give you an example, is let's say we were running an ad for somebody shopping for a home. So let's go over to the far left of my funnel here. Okay. So I'm shopping for a home and I see your ad. I click on it and I end up at a bot. This bot says, hey, you know what? We would be happy to send you, beautiful homes that have just hit the market before anyone else has received these. We'll get them over to you right away. But you know what? if you could just answer a couple questions for me, I can fine tune it for you so that you're only getting homes that you really, really want to see. Could I get you to answer a couple questions, or just click yes or no if you like some of these properties? I'm going to show you some pictures of homes for sale in your area right now. So the first thing they'll do is they'll ask, what city are you looking in and what's your price range? Then it'll ask them, okay, what style of home do you like? Do you tend to like ranch? Do you like two-story? Do you like split level? What? So they tell them, boom. Now it says, okay, now I'm going to show you a couple pictures of homes that are actually on the market right now. Click yes or no if you like them. And it'll show them 3, 4, or 5. And just over showing them 3, 4, or 5 homes, it's already learned enough and started to pick up on patterns that we as humans haven't even picked up on yet. So now it'll actually start showing them homes that they're going to start clicking yes more often on. And then it says, okay, I'm going to send you more homes just like this one. Okay, where would you like me to send that to? So boom, it captures their email address. And if we find one that's really particularly hot and an awesome deal and maybe saving tens of thousands of dollars over the original asking price, how can we reach you by phone? So collect their phone number, or maybe you want us to text you the homes. Okay, here's a number to text to. Is it okay if we also send a message over on Facebook? Boom, now we have permission to message them on Facebook Messenger. And this could be happening at 2 a.m. while you're sound asleep. These bots do a better job of qualifying than most humans. So these bots are a beautiful way to engage with people and to capture all that information, because here's what's happening is the whole time that conversation is taking place, the bot saves all the information, and when you get the lead, you get their answers to every single one of those questions. So for all you know, there could be 20, 30 answers to questions in there. So now when you have a lead to send over to a realtor, by the way, if you're wanting to leverage leads for realtors, you got a hell of a lead now. Not just a name, email, and phone number. Now that realtor can look at that and go, yeah, now I know what they're looking for, right? Talk about qualifying. So we're getting a better quality lead because we're sending them to a bot. Number 2 is what's happening on the back end is a tracking cookie takes place, okay, or fires off. So that tracking cookie only fires off if they've engaged for a certain period of time. So that way I know I'm only getting really interested individuals. So that tracking cookie, even if that person doesn't give up all of their data and all their information to my bot, I still have them added to my audience. So I've pulled them from YouTube, but my tracking cookie is going to fire my Facebook tracking pixel as well. So they go into my Facebook audience. So now I can retarget them on Facebook. So I can take advantage of the cheaper clicks on YouTube, but then take advantage of the huge amount of exposure because people log into Facebook so often as well and run ads to them on Facebook and or Facebook Messenger. So now I'm hitting them on multiple platforms. I can also fire off a cookie that targets them on Yahoo, Bing, or even on their favorite news website. All of this from a bot engagement, by the way, okay? So essentially, at this step, what we've done is we've done our best to find out what they're looking for. So once I do that, so let's say they go through and they give their information to my bot, what am I going to do then? Well, then I'm going to give them an option to redirect over to a landing page. And I'm going to tell them, okay, if you'd like more information about such and such topic, click here. Or if you'd rather, hear more about some amazing financing options on these types of homes within this price range in your area, click here. So I'm going to give them options. So they pick and choose what's more relevant to them. So they end up on a landing page that's relevant to them because they're the ones that chose what to click on. So when they go to that page, guess what's going to greet them? A video. A video. Hey, my name's Chad Weber, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with my bot system over there. And here, let me tell you a little bit about what we prepared for you here today. Boom. Now I'm going to hit them with a custom message. Okay. I'm going to give them some value. I'm going to talk to them about some things that they need to know, things that maybe the competition hasn't told them yet, right? I'm going to do my best to just not sell and just give them good usable information because I want to get off on the right foot with that prospect, right? So less about selling, more about adding value. Again, let's pause here and let me ask you guys a very relevant question. How many of your competition or your competitors do you think have taken the time to prepare a cycle like this? If you want to look better than your competition, if you want to make a better first impression, do you think you're off to a good start already? Yeah, a much better start, right? Because they're not taking the time to do this. So now after they hit this page, If they have not scheduled an appointment with me yet, then they go into my auto lead nurture. Okay. So here's what happens here is my lead nurture is based off of the answers that they gave to my bot. So my API is smart enough. It's smart enough to delineate the differences between yes and no answers, or whether they clicked here or whether they clicked there. So their entire click pattern was recorded and sent over to my autoresponder automation system. So now it knows exactly which messages to send out to them based on their responses. So let me give you an example of what I'm going to be sending to them. So I'm going to have a series of messages, because here's the thing. The first 7 to 10 days after that lead is captured is critical. That's critical. That's where you make the difference between this ending up to be a dud of a lead or a really high quality lead that ends up in your pipeline. So message number 1 is I'm going to send them a welcome message. I'm going to make them comfortable by introducing them to me and provide them with multiple channels to reach out to me. So in other words, I'm basically just going to tell them a little bit about me and what I can do to help them, but say, listen, should you have any questions at all, here are multiple ways to reach out to me, because I know everybody has their own preferred medium of contact. Here's my phone number. Here's a number you can text me. So I'm going to give them my office number. Here's where you could text me at. Here's my Facebook profile if you want to just send me a message on Messenger. And here's how you can reach me. I'm going to give them other forms of communication as well. Maybe I might give them my LinkedIn. I might give them if I'm on WhatsApp, if I'm on Skype. I mean, just give them multiple means of contact. Why do you want to do this? Because it looks good. Because it's sending the subconscious message that, hey, I'm easy to contact. I'm easy to reach out to, as opposed to what do a lot of people complain about. Whenever I call my loan officer, he never picks up. Whenever I call my realtor, he or she never picks up, right? People complain about that sort of thing all the time. So you start off on the right foot by giving them all these different channels to reach out to you. That really shows that you're accessible. So you're already standing out over your competition. But then message 2 goes out. Message number 2 is the one we talked about, using Loom, right? So that's, or whatever you want. I don't care what software you use. There's other software out there that does the same thing as Loom. So just use whatever you're comfortable with. But you're going to send a personalized video. So that's just a welcome message. It's like, look, I know, it's nice to be able to put a face to the name and know who you're doing business with. But I also wanted to give you a couple additional tips here real quick. But the most important thing is it's got to be a personal video. You got to use their name. Because when you use their name, now they know you took the time and you cared enough to record. Just doing this, I generally see about 30-40% more responses just from this one step. Could you handle 30 to 40% more people responding to your messages to them as are now? I mean, who wouldn't like that, right? And this is all you got to do. Easy. Step number 3, now I'm going to send them some sort of a hard copy document. Now, what I mean by hard copy, guys, is something that they have to download, something tangible, something that either lives on their mobile device, so it could be an app or some sort of a lead magnet, something that they download like a PDF, or even something they print out. You want something in their hands. So an example would be like 7 proven ways to get the best deal possible on your next home. And it needs to be authored by you, because this is basically you establishing yourself as the expert. It's a lead magnet. It's something that you just need to sit down and take the time to either create or have someone create it for you, because you want to establish yourself as the expert. The ultimate lead magnet would be a book that they could go and buy or download on Amazon.com. A book for sale on Amazon.com about buying homes, but that you give them a coupon code where they can go and download it for free because they're your customer, would be about the ultimate power play possible. And it's not that hard to do, by the way, not with publishing on demand. It's very cheap. But these are the types of things that you do to just absolutely dominate your competition, right? I mean, this you can make this as complex as you like, or you can make it as simple as you like. But the most important thing is you got to send them something, and it's got to be usable, right? So and I see the comments about this being overwhelming. We have solutions for that, Greg. Absolutely. I know it's definitely overwhelming because there's so many steps involved. But I just feel that it's important that you guys see how a proper funnel works, okay? Because everybody talks about funnels, but very few people walk you through it, okay? So now what happens is either I get the appointment or I don't. So you can see here that we assume that by message number 3, you're going to get the appointment because you've established yourself as Mr. or Mrs. Awesome. Hey, this is one awesome loan officer here because this person's done way more than any other loan officer I've talked to. So yeah, I think it's time that I meet with this person. So now what I do is I send them to an actual appointment scheduling page. You got software out there like 10to8.com, which is a great appointment scheduler that will sync with your calendar, and they even have a free edition, so you don't even have to pay anything for it, and it's awesome. It allows them to schedule an appointment with you. So when I send them over to schedule that appointment, either they convert yes or no, either they schedule it or not. If they don't, then I send them back into both retargeting and back into my funnel again. Now, here's what I do differently now in my funnel with my messages. Is now guess what I do? Because I'm going to make you guys really happy here, because here's where we can cut down on some overwhelm. A lot of people, when they look at how many messages need to be going out to their database, they go, wow, I just don't know what to write for all these messages. I just don't know what to say, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? One of the really cool strategies is that we just send them out attachments or links. So we just go and find out what's in the local news about mortgages or about buying homes or about the real estate market in your particular area, and you just send them a link over to it. Like I found an article here, on Good Morning St. Louis, and it says, here's why buying a home, in the months of April and May are the best times to buy in the city of St. Louis. And here's an awesome article for you. Why would I send over articles? Well, because it adds a huge amount of credibility. Because it's no longer coming from you, it's coming from other sources, other sources of authority. So I'm not just tooting my own horn or just saying what they expect a salesperson to say, number one. Number two, it's because then I don't have to really write anything. So I can just, send articles, a couple articles each month, and really cut down on what I have to write. But number three is I send them with overlays. What's an overlay? Well, an overlay is that if you're using the right software out there, when you send a link to somebody, instead of them just leaving you, there's a little overlay in the lower left-hand corner, a little box that links right back to you and has your information on it and says, hey, did you like that article? And there's your little thumbnail picture on there. It says, hey, this article was recommended by Chad Weber. Did you like that article? Well, then you'll probably love these. When they click on it, it brings them to my YouTube channel or brings them back to my website or brings them to one of my landing pages. But ultimately, it just keeps bringing them back to me. So that no matter how deep down the rabbit hole of reading articles they go, that little box will always reside there saying this article is recommended by Chad Weber and have my picture, my phone number, my email, and links back to my resources where they can go and read more stuff recommended by me. That was easy. I didn't have to write anything. All I had to do is just send them articles with overlays. Then I make my third message. If it's somebody that's shopping for a home, I might even go and join a realtor to walk through a home and say, hey, I'm going to bring my camera with me. I'm just going to do a walkthrough, and I'm going to be narrating and talking to my database about why this is a beautiful home that just hit the market. It's relevant because they're in the market for a home. So now I can send them a video and go, hey, you know what? I've been teaming up with local real estate agents, just going and doing walkthroughs for busy folks such as yourself, just so you can kind of see what it looks like instead of just seeing a bunch of static images in a slideshow video. Here, I thought you might find this interesting. It's in the price range you mentioned you're looking for. Easy. I'm adding value. These are the types of things I send. When you're able to double, triple, and quadruple your conversion rate, it's worth the time. It's worth the time. Okay. Brian was asking about what was the appointment scheduler. There's a couple of them out there. A lot of people like Calendly, but I also like 10to8.com. So Calendly and 10to8.com are wonderful appointment schedulers. Okay, and I see some more questions, and I'll circle back here in a moment, guys. But do you guys see the value of having a funnel set up like this? Okay, because you can see that everything always circles back if either they take action on what I'm sending or they don't. But the whole time, running in the background is a tracking cookie that knows and is watching their behavior. And based on their behavior, let me show you something down here. Every step of the way, this is happening. Do you guys know what lead scoring is? I'm sure most of you guys, especially if you've used a CRM. Do you guys know what lead scoring is? So lead scoring is when A piece of software tracks a person's behaviors and assigns value or a score for every little action they take or don't take. So in other words, it tracks everything they're doing. And let's say I have a database of 1,000 people, and I send out some email blasts, I send out some YouTube videos, I send out some articles, I send out some blog posts, but they don't, the bulk of them don't take action. But let's say 50 of them do. 50 of them do for the month. The software tracks that and says, okay, for everybody who clicked on an article, I'm going to give them 10 points. For everybody that clicked on 2 articles, I'm going to give them 20 points. Everybody who went to a YouTube video and watched your YouTube video, I'm going to get 30 points, and so forth. So you assign different scores for different actions that are buying signals. And it ranks, and when it gets somebody to 75 points or higher, that's considered a hot lead because they've done multiple things. They've taken multiple actions that tell you this person, they're consuming everything I'm sending to them, so they must be really, really hot lead. They must be really interested if they're just reading all this stuff I'm sending them. So it then sends you a report at the end of each week. Here are your hottest leads based on their lead score. Beautiful, beautiful. So now you know where the low-hanging fruit is from week to week. You don't manually scroll through your entire database going, should I call this person or should I call that person? No, instead, you can just at a glance see, here's the people who've taken the most action and activity and engage with the stuff I've sent them, so I know where to spend my time. I know who my hot leads are. Saves me time. So it's behavior-based tracking. So when we talk about tracking cookies and why they're so important, it's because they do things like this, right? So I'll talk about where to start on this sort of thing here soon, folks, because I see a lot of people asking me it, and don't worry. I'm definitely going to address that, okay? But let me just hop back to the slides real quick. So I hope this has given you guys some ideas, as to what a truly effective funnel looks like, okay, and how we can differentiate ourselves from our competition. This isn't necessarily something that you just have to come out of the gate building, immediately, because I understand that it can indeed be overwhelming, but we have some solutions for you here today too. So, okay, I just want to give you some quick tips, on making the most. Just here's some little things that you can do to add value and to engage better with your prospects. Okay, so number one is email. As soon as a lead is captured, you want an automated email to go out. So that's the easiest thing that you can do. Just a simple email autoresponder can do that. And you could set that up in about 15, 20 minutes. But I'm just going to throw a bonus out there for you guys. If you want to get more emails opened, if you've seen declining email open rates over time, start injecting emojis into your subject line or little icons to boost your open rates. Again, I was skeptical at first as well, because to me that sometimes the little emojis kind of look a little cheesy, but I'm seeing generally about a 20-24% boost in open rates when I use them. But I just use really simple ones. I don't use the overly in your face or cartoonish ones. But let me show you guys, if you're not familiar, it's actually super easy to embed an emoji into your email subject line. Like let me give you a resource right here. Emojipedia. Just go to Emojipedia. Let me show you right here. And you do a search for what you want. Like let's say I wanted to do a question mark, and I just do question. I just type it in here. And it gives me these different emojis. So I say, okay, I just want to put a red question mark because it attracts the eyeball. You look at it and you just got to see it. And I just click copy right here. And now I go into my email, whatever email software I'm using, and I just click in the subject line and click paste. And it pastes the code that will create this red icon that attracts the eyeball. So when your prospects are staring at a sea of black and white on their inbox, your red question mark's really gonna stand out. But I also like arrows. I like arrows a lot too. So let's go back to Emojipedia. There we go. So we got all sorts of different arrows here. You got blocks and so forth, opens. I mean, there's literally thousands of these things out here. The fire icon, So these little icons will generally give you a nice little boost to your open rates. So I strongly recommend that you at least test them. If you're skeptical, at least put them to the test. Do a split test and send a couple out with them and see what it does to your open rate. I've generally seen between a 20 and 24% increase in my open rate over not using them for sending the exact same emails. So personalization is important. Again, I'm just going to reiterate. So sending using the video, such as Loom or something similar. If you want a paid for service, you got BombBomb out there. BombBomb's pretty awesome. I constantly get great feedback from loan officers using BombBomb. Loom is free, so you can use that as well, whatever your preference is. And what I like about Loom is it allows you to edit the video before you send it too. So if you make mistakes and you go through and you want to cut something out, it allows you to cut aspects of that video out and edit it, which is really, really cool. Okay, so start adding value. So value, I mentioned having some sort of a download, even if it's just a little mini guide or just a little checklist. Hey, before you go look at your next home, here's a checklist of 10 things to make sure you have in order, to have all your ducks in a row. It doesn't need to be complex. It can even be something simple, just something that adds value. Give them something physical, something that they can download, just something to at least get them out of their email inbox. That makes you more real to them. Okay, when I'm downloading and saving stuff that you sent me to my cell phone or to my desktop or to my laptop, you've become more of my go-to person at that point, right? You mean more to me than just some Joe Blow that I see his ad on Facebook tomorrow versus you. I've already interacted by downloading your stuff, so I've already acknowledged that you're adding value. And do something to demonstrate your expertise. Don't just talk about your expertise, demonstrate it. So when you give them something to download or an ebook or an e-guide, you're demonstrating. You're not selling anymore, you're demonstrating, okay? So guys, you really must have a way to stand out because everyone has access to the same programs, the same information these days, right? We know that on the internet, everything is available. The difference is you got to be willing to just do and deliver your information in ways that your competition is unwilling to. And because of the fact that video has a higher perceived value, it's more personal, it engages on a much deeper level, you really need to be using it. Okay, I know that a lot of folks don't necessarily want to take that next step and get in front of the camera, but there's other ways to create a video than just step in front of a camera. You can even do screen capture videos. Loom lets you do that too. You can just do screen capture videos, kind of like right now. I'm talking to you guys, you don't see my face, right? But we're still having this conversation here. We're still engaging. You're still listening to what I have to say to you. You're watching the information that I've prepared for you. So if you really just don't feel comfortable getting in front of a camera, at least do a screen capture like this. Lots of free software out there does screen captures for you. Okay, so let's recap the steps. The 5 steps. Number 1, choose a better traffic source. I'm recommending YouTube. You also have Quora out there. Yahoo, Bing are good. Any of those 4 sources are not. You're not going to run into a whole lot of competition in comparison to the way Facebook's just being just gobbled up these days, right? You got everybody and their brothers on Facebook now. Hyper target. So you got to start hyper targeting using micro niches. So micro niches. It doesn't mean you can no longer go after general purchases or debt consolidations, but start trying to find the hyper focused groups of individuals. What do they self-identify as? How can you attach a label there that they'll look at and go, yeah, that's me. Craft a better message, a superior message. So we need to work on the messaging. What's the first things that they see after they give up their information? The very first thing that happens after they give you their name, email, phone number, and what they're looking for, that's going to be their ongoing impression of you. So your message needs to be dialed in. It needs to be focused. It needs to be practiced. It needs to be excellent. It needs to make them feel warm and fuzzy. So let's make better first impressions through personalizations. Sending those personal one-to-one videos when a lead comes in. And then finally, using automation the way it was intended. So the way that I demonstrated, that is what a true and proper funnel looks like. I know it's overwhelming at first glance, but I'm telling you, it makes a night and day difference in conversion. It's the difference between people who say, man, I'm closing such a few percentage of these leads to, holy crap, I got to turn off my ads because I got too much activity going on because so many of these things are converting. You can see the difference in engagement and in how somebody's going to perceive someone using a funnel like that engages them to that level, to somebody who doesn't, to somebody who, once in a while maybe picks up the phone and calls them and fires off the occasional email. It's hard to compete with a properly structured automation, right? That's the whole point. It's marketing software. So let's talk about the problems again. The problem, guys, is the cost for advertising is going up, and it's going up faster and faster and faster each year. Okay, that's documented fact. That's not theory. That's not conjecture. That's not scare tactics. That's documented fact. It's even coming straight from Facebook, telling us, hey, our costs have risen 400% in the last 10 years. That's just for the average click. But you look at the finance and the real estate industry, the clicks have gone up even quicker. Okay, so this year we know there's a record number. New records being set for the number of new online advertisers spending money on Facebook ads, and they're allocating larger and larger portions of their advertising budget. It used to be just 5%, 8%, 10%. Now we're seeing numbers like 30%, 40%, 50%. They're giving, some of these companies giving half their entire budget just to Facebook. So Facebook and social media growth has slowed down. It was a monster from the mid 2000s there, right? It was a monster for a good 7, 8, 9, 10 years of growth, but it's really started to slow down now. In inventory is really starting to become scarce for a lot of niches. So because we're having highly contested inventory, in other words, more advertising dollars thrown at them than we have people to click on them, you need either new sources or you need new ways to engage to get more out of what's costing you more. You need to get more closings, more applications. So the one and only option when inventory stops growing is to charge more per click on that platform. So we can see some really big jumps in costs on the horizon for most PPC platforms. So we got to go where the competition isn't flooding just yet, right? So I'm going to address these questions here. And I'm going to circle back and answer any of these questions I didn't get to. And I'm going to give you guys some more tips and some more ideas. And we're going to open up for Q&A here so you guys can ask any question that you like, okay? So we're going to get to that in just a moment. But I do want to talk to you guys about something that we have set up. I've talked about this a couple of times over the past few weeks, and that's the Level Up Academy. So we have our final group of Level Up Academy deploys this week, guys, this week. And unfortunately, I only have, because the bulk of this final group is already filled. I literally have just 4 slots. And no, I'm not just saying that. It's just, hey, the first 4 you guys to jump in on it, get in on it. But for those of you that feel like you want help building out the types of things that we just discussed here and demonstrated, let me explain to you what we do to help you do that, because there's actually 2 forms of it. I have a do-it-yourself and I have a done-for-you version. Okay, so let me explain what both of these are, and I'll even show you a little bit of what we do. So Level Up Academy, it's an 8-week training. It's 8 weeks of a mastermind with 2 coaches. Why 2 coaches? I'm one coach. Stefan Lubinsky is the second coach. I'm the guy that focuses on automations, traffic generation, and technical stuff, landing pages, and getting all that set up. Stefan focuses on your messaging and on your video, because Stefan is, quite frankly, the expert's expert. This is the guy working with huge multi-million dollar startups and big corporations and helping them dial in their messaging. And I'll show you some video samples here in just a moment of the type of stuff we're going to have you guys making, and you'll see why it's going to make you the obvious choice to borrowers. And you'll be proud to run these as advertisements. You'll be very proud to tell people that's me, because that's what Stefan does. That's his expertise, is to make you look good on video. That's what he's done for these companies. Dial in your message, and he critiques you until you look better, you sound better, you're packaged better, you're more on point. What you're saying has more impact. That's what Level Up Academy is designed to do. Your entire platform, from lead capture to conversion, is we're helping you get that fixed. Okay? Here's what's included in it, and then I'm going to show you guys the website. Okay. So it's 8 weeks of live training. We train every week. You learn how to run high conversion ads using a combination of YouTube and Facebook together to drive your costs down and to go where your competition isn't. So we take advantage of and wield the superior targeting and filtering capabilities of YouTube, and it's lower cost. But for anybody that does not become an immediate lead, we also funnel them over to your Facebook audience so you can retarget them until they do become your lead. Okay? You'll learn our exclusive rapid audience builder ad strategy. We're going to do ad rotations that allow you to pull in leads on demand. So this is something that you do whenever you need a nice little boost or shot in the arm of just more leads to work very, very quickly. It's very cost effective. How to get great at doing video. How to make borrowers want to do business with you right now. It doesn't matter if you've never even shot a single video before. That's what Stefan is here for. He's here to actually do live critiques, one-on-one critiques, where you send over, here's what I made. He's actually going to come through and show you, okay, here's what you need to do to make this better. Here's how you make yourself great. Because how good would it feel to where you have a competitive advantage to where you no longer worry about video, but you now look forward to doing it because you know you look and sound so good, and that your competition doesn't know how to do what you're doing. They don't know how to follow that. We're going to show you a video touch point system that positions you far above your competition, so you're the obvious choice. So a lot of that has to do with the funnel that I showed you guys, how to leverage your new ability with video to get realtors to want to do business with you. So this isn't just for prospects, guys. This isn't just for getting loans, but imagine being able to send over just absolute kick-butt video that realtors watch and go, wow, this guy or gal's pretty good. This is somebody I need to do business with, right? So we're going to give you high return on investment word-for-word scripts that have been field tested and proven to work again and again, so you don't have to sit down and just write your own scripts. We're going to give you a simple follow-up strategy that includes done-for-you email content that positions you as the expert. So these emails are already written. All you got to do is just go in there and just customize it with your information. My exact recommended new lead follow-up process, so you'll be shown exactly how to set this up quickly. So for those of you saying, well, we don't really know where to begin, well, I actually have an entire module of Level Up Academy dedicated to that. And I'll not only show you live, but I'll also give you video replays so you can sit down and watch and do exactly as I did. Then you get your live reviews and critiques of your first videos with Stefan. And Stefan is here to tell you how it is, right? Because when you pay for something, you don't want somebody to just be nice and candy coat everything. No, he's actually going to tell you, here's where you're doing great, here's where you need work. And here's how you make it better. Not just what do you need to do, but how do you do it? So how do you make your audio sound so good? How do you make your background look so good? How do you appear so comfortable on camera? For those of you who just want to have it all set up and done for you, we have our Done For You edition as well. So that's everything in the basic plan, plus your initial video ads are actually either recorded with or even for you. So if you just flat out don't want to appear in your videos and you don't want to fuss with screen recordings, then we'll actually even do professional studio videos for you. Okay. Now, I would rather do them with you because I'd rather you have the skill set to just blow your competition out of the water on demand because you're just so darn good at doing video now because you've worked with Stefan and I. But I understand some people are super busy or just for whatever reason, it's just not something that they're ready for just yet. And in that case, we have professional voiceovers. We have professional animation style videos. We will make them for you and deliver them ready to go. Your ad campaign will be built for you by our team of ad experts, your landing pages, your thank you pages, your appointment scheduling pages, along with those videos, all done for you. Your ads are deployed along with the initial tweaking and campaign management is done for you. Quite literally everything you need to launch your ads is handled for you with the Done For You edition. All right. But let me tell you guys, one of the caveats here is, again, with Done For You Academy, or I'm sorry, with Level Up Academy, we do not just take anybody. It's got to be a good fit. I understand that there's lots of people willing to, just jump on board right away and just say, hey, give me a buy link, but you can't just buy your way into Level Up Academy. What you got to do is just go to the site and click the button to request your session. It's levelupacademy.co. Here's the link. Here's the URL right here. Okay. So what you do is you just come down here and you click, yes, I'm ready for it. That's not a commitment to buy. Rather, what that does is it brings you over to the questionnaire and for you to schedule your appointment with me. Okay. Now, I recommend that you do this ASAP because, again, we do literally have just 4 slots open on this last deployment. Now, with that said, for the done for you, that's a little bit different. But if you're wanting to do the core module, and I'm going to show you guys some more on that here in just a moment, you need to come in here and request your spot to chat with me ASAP because I anticipate this will be completely sold out, specifically because we deploy this week. All right, we're deploying this week. We're ready to rock and roll on this last deployment. We're not doing another one until June, July. So you need to get in on that. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. Let's scroll down here. Let me give you an idea of what's going to be possible. So if you come to levelupacademy.co and you come down here, you're going to see examples of the types of cool videos. Here's an example of a screenshot style video. Here's a cold follow-up, credit tips, and so forth. These are very, very powerful engagement videos. And you're going to see, here, let me just kind of give you some examples. Now, you know what? You'll be able to hear if I click on it, but because we're on a webinar, it's going to be super choppy. So I'm just going to recommend you come here and play these videos for yourself to see just how good at doing video Stefan is. This guy just rock solid, very laid back, but very engaging. Half the time you're smiling and laughing along with him. As he's chatting, the guy knows how to engage. He knows how to make people go, wow, I want to work with this guy. And he's going to help you incorporate a lot of these elements into your own video. So I strongly recommend you come to levelupacademy.co. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat box here for you. Give me just a second. I'm going to put it, there we go. Okay, so if you look in the top right in that chat box, there's a clickable link now. Leads to levelupacademy.co. Okay, and again, we have a core module if you're wanting to do with us, and then we also have a completely done for you. Okay, so the done for you is hands off. My guys quite literally come in and we get that all set up for you. We have a sit down with you to find out more about who you're targeting, who your niche is, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so if you just want to say, wow, this looks overwhelming to me, I just want it done for me. If you're looking to save more, if you're just looking to kind of bootstrap it a little bit, then the core module is a learning module. But even with that learning module, remember, we're giving you things like pre-written emails, and we're giving you word-for-word scripts. You're getting the one-to-one feedback and critiquing with Stefan on the video, and you're getting live sessions with me as I show you how to build all of this, how to get it all set up. And your first ads are going to be run your first month, guys. That's the real beauty of this, is your first ads are run the first month. So you're getting results from month 1. This isn't something where we're saying, hey, spend 8 weeks learning and then you'll get to run ads. Oh no. I'm going to show you guys, hey, for those of you that need business right now, here's some simple ads that you can run to start getting results. Because I know you guys, you're right at the starting point of the busy season. You really need to something that will allow you to run with it and go make get some results right out of the gate, right? Take advantage of the fact that we're at the head of the busy season. Okay. So this kind of breaks down the core module. Typically, I don't know why it clicked there. Sorry about that. Let me open that back up. There we go. So typically, you guys know that when I do my one-on-one coaching, you guys know that even my cheapest one-on-one coaching is $3,000 a month, right? So with 2 instructors, we got a really a real world value of $7,000 here, and this kind of breaks down for you the value. And if you can just go and look at some of my older webinars and see, that these aren't made up price points; these are real price points. But for the Level Up Academy Core Edition, guys. For the core edition, it's $1,500, and that could be broken up into payments. Okay, $1,500 to get nearly $9,000 worth of value, because you're getting 2 months of training with 2 instructors, not one. Field tested scripts, one-to-one video critiques, exact ad copy and ad campaigns that are proven, that we know have pulled in tens of thousands of dollars in closed loans in just the past 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, we're giving you the exact ads to run, no guesswork. Word for word emails and follow-ups, ad copy for your funnel. So you don't have to sit down and hire somebody for $1,000 a copywriter, or sit down and spend days and weeks writing them yourself. They're already written for you. But for the core edition, we quite literally only have 4 slots open. So I strongly recommend jumping on board that ASAP, because when we do another round of Level Up Academy, not only will the busy season be almost over, but it's going to be for $2,500 instead of $1,500. The $1,500 is just because these are our introductory deployments of Level Up Academy. Okay, so if you guys want to learn how to do these things and get in front of these big problems before they become worse problems, this is the best way I know how to help you. So, and I teamed up with a second instructor because I wanted to make sure that you guys had a true expert, because video, I'm okay with video. It's not my area of expertise like it is Stefan. You know, Stefan spent the past 10 years specializing in video and messaging. So I wanted to make sure that I brought true value to you guys and had the best of the best looking over your videos and making sure that you look awesome in front of your prospects. So every aspect of your marketing will improve with Level Up Academy. It's probably the best bargain I've seen for a very, very, very long time, to get this much improvement and growth and learn entire new lead generation strategies and traffic resources to bring on leads on demand. It's hard to beat that value. Okay. So I see some questions coming over. Okay, is it done for you? Okay, so the done for you, Greg, the done for you package. What you'll want to do is just schedule that that session. If you just click on the button there at levelupacademy.co, schedule the session, because what we do is we go through some questioning with you, because with the done for you, what we have to find out is how much work has to go into it, because this is not just some pulled off the shelf, you know, we're going to force fit everybody into the same, you know, round holes, right? We're not going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. Instead, we find out, you know, kind of where your marketing's at now, so we know exactly what our guys have to do, and then we based the package on what needs to be done. Because some of you guys, some people literally have no CRM, no email autoresponder, no follow-ups, nothing set up, and they're literally starting from scratch. And then we get other guys coming to us going, well, I already got, you know, these landing pages here, and I got an email autoresponder that's already connected, and I got an API here and there. And, you know, for them, that's going to be less work. So I don't want to charge, you know, for work that I don't have to do, right? So I genuinely want to give you guys a good value. So that's why we need to talk first before we price it out, because we want to be fair and not charge you for work that we don't have to do, and then turn around and then on the flip side end up having to do a bunch of extra work for somebody that is starting from scratch, right? So yeah, just head on over to levelupacademy.co. Yeah, Greg, here, let me send over, for those of you that have questions, let's say you're on the fence and you just have some questions. Let me give you an email address, guys. But I strongly urge you, if you're impressed by the capabilities here that you've seen today, I strongly recommend that you reach out ASAP. And the reason for that is because we only have these capabilities in very limited quantity, because we're rolling out with the mastermind this week. And because of the fact that we're rolling out with it, we're not going to be taking on a whole lot of new clients for done for you either. Okay, so I'm sending over my email address to everyone. If you go to, if you look in the top right corner, at the go to webinar box, you'll see my email address, cweber@averagejoelo.com. You can reach out to me there. But the best way is just to go to levelupacademy.co. It's not .com. There is no M missing on there. It's just .co. And just click the button there. It's not committing to buy anything. All you're doing is scheduling the appointment on my calendar. Do you offer support with the process and the tech setup? Yeah, the done for you is literally done completely for you. And then even after we've delivered, there is a support period as well. Carolyn, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right, and I see some other questions coming over. And guys, and feel free to ask if you have questions about what we talked about here today, funnels, lead generation, running ads, those types of questions. This is something I've been doing for over 15 years, folks. I'm not here to present myself as a know-it-all, but I've run literally millions and millions and millions of dollars of ads for companies. So there's very few questions that are going to be on a topic that I haven't engaged with and have firsthand experience with. So it's an opportunity to ask questions. I promised that I would stick around to answer those questions. Funneling, I know it can be very intimidating in the beginning, but that's what Level Up Academy is all about. It's because we know these things have to be done, whether they're intimidating or not. And if we don't take action now, then you're just going to keep paying more and more and more for ads, for clicks. And the thing is, the scary thing is they're converting on average at lower and lower rates. Did you see those? Did you see those industry average conversion rates? I mean, we were talking about fractions of a fraction of 1% average conversion rate in the finance industry. And those are real world numbers. Those are by real tests from thousands and thousands of ad campaigns run. So conversion rates dropping, but costs going up, that's not a good formula. So something's got to be done. And the fact that it's intimidating is actually a good thing because it means most people are not going to do it. So we talked about needing to put a wall between you and your competition. There needs to be a barrier that they can't easily climb over. And that barrier is what we teach you in Level Up Academy. I'm teaching you how to put that barrier there because by the time you're done, you're going to have processes in place that they just can't compete with because they're going to look at it and go, my God, this guy's really dialed in. This loan officer is very, very prepared. This is a true expert. This is somebody that knows what they're doing, and they can't just knock you off. Not unless they want to go typically to build stuff like this. If they were to just go hire a freelancer, how much do you think they would spend? And would they end up with somebody with expertise in the mortgage industry or just somebody who's, pretty good with online marketing? Because most online marketers, they're good with selling cheap stuff, not selling complex sales cycles that can last 6 to 9 months and hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment, right? Whereas we've been doing this for 15 years. So you get the advantage of that expertise for the next 8 weeks, plus what Stefan brings to the table. So have you guys gone and checked out some of his videos yet? I really think you should go check them out. Levelupacademy.co. Just scroll down and look at some of the video samples. And some of these we've already been using in live ad campaigns. And they convert. Let me tell you, they convert. He looks good. He sounds good. He's a professional. He doesn't come across like he's just reading some script. Now, some people may look at that and say, well, that's not my personality type, though. I don't want to pretend to be somebody I'm not. And that's exactly it. We're not here to make you pretend to be somebody else. We're going to help you find the best version of you. How do you come across and put your best foot forward? Right? How do you sound great? How do you look good in front of the camera? Or if you don't want to be in front of the camera, let me answer that question because I actually see that question here. You guys saying, well, what if you mentioned a video type where we don't have to be in front of the camera? What is it? Have you seen animated videos? Specifically, like you've probably seen the whiteboard style where you got that hand kind of scribbling. That's one variety. Another variety is just full blown animation clips. There screen captures. That's a third variety. A fourth variety is we have professional presenters, professional spokespeople. So they will actually do the talking. And, again, I would prefer that you appear in your videos, or at least in a couple of them. You don't have to appear in all of them, but at least a couple of them. But if not, we have professional presenters that can take the place, or we can do animated videos. So yeah, there's something for everyone. Even if you say, Chad, I absolutely do not want to be in front of a camera. We can even do static ads. YouTube allows us to run image ads too. They're not going to convert most often. Sometimes they do convert as well, but usually they don't convert quite as well as the video. So I still prefer to do video, but even then, it's still a heck of a lot better than going and running ads, static ads where everybody else is, right? Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right. So any other questions that I missed while I'm scrolling through here? I'm just taking a look at the questions now. Does everybody have the link? Is there anybody that has questions where you might be on the fence and say, well, I'd really like to get this question answered or that question answered before I schedule the appointment? Although either shoot me an email or schedule the one-to-one discussion, because it doesn't cost anything for the discussion. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little digging into your current marketing and find out if it's a good fit. Because I only have 4 spots, and I want those 4 final slots to go to people who are actually going to implement and make a heck of a lot of money. That's my goal with Level Up Academy, is to make you as much ROI as humanly possible. I want you to look good, and I want your testimonials, because this is a new rollout for us, Level Up Academy, and we're looking for the best possible testimonials. And the best way to get that is to help you get amazing results. So you go, wow, this has been the best investment for 2019. Right? Awesome. So, all right, I'm seeing a lot of questions asking about software and recommendations. Are you going to recommend that, or, do I need to buy stuff? And those are all great questions. Okay. So let me talk about my recommendations. When it comes to software, you don't need to go out and buy an expensive CRM. For Level Up Academy, if you don't have an email autoresponder, I'm going to recommend you get one. It's just, in my opinion, excuse me for saying so, but I think it's nuts to not at least have an email autoresponder in 2019. You got to have some automation, guys. Otherwise, you're doing everything manually, and that just doesn't cut it, right? So the software that I recommend, you don't need to go buy some $100 or $200 a month CRM. I'm going to recommend like a $10 a month email autoresponder that comes with automations, lead scoring, and a lot of those capabilities that we talked about when I was showing you the really cool funnel. That can all be handled by a proper email autoresponder if you get the right one. So I'll actually recommend some to you, but if all you have is just a regular email autoresponder, even that will suffice. You're still way ahead of your competition, because most people either pay for CRMs or they pay for autoresponders, but they never use them. So what we're going to do is we're going to help you put it to good use, because even a cheap email autoresponder these days has a lot of automated functionality that's going to take a lot of load off of your shoulders and allow you to do a lot of the things that I showed you in the sample funnel. So if you can afford $10 a month, then yes, that's all you're going to need to invest in, unless you already have a CRM or autoresponder. Then you don't even need to buy one. But whether you're joining our program or not, I would still make the same recommendation to make sure that you have an email autoresponder at the bare minimum. Okay? All right. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I'm scrolling through here again. How long? Okay. So I'm seeing a couple questions too on time investment. The average session is about 45 minutes to an hour, and we will meet weekly during Level Up Academy. But sometimes we'll also do, some weeks we'll do what's called office hours. So what office hours is where, let's say on the beginning of a week, I've given you some tasks and duties to complete before our next meeting. I understand that during that time frame, you may run into challenges. So what we'll do is we'll also do a 30 minute to 1 hour session where I just hop on GoToWebinar just like this and just wait to see who shows up with questions. It's just basically anybody that has a challenge during implementation, or you've run into a technical issue or something that you just need answers to, or you need additional help for, I'm there. I'm just there for whatever questions you may have. So we do those office hours sometimes too, where especially when we know that we're getting into the technical stuff. So that way we're there waiting for you. We're there hanging out on GoToWebinar. Come by, get all your questions answered in one fell swoop. I found that's a lot better, a lot more effective than just back and forth email, because we know email's not that effective at communicating, specific details. So the office hours are great. Right? Awesome. So Rich, for the done for you, the best way to get the answer to the pricing question is just go to levelupacademy.co. And after we've finished kind of analyzing what you're doing for marketing now and what's currently set up, then we're able to determine what that price point is, because it's not just a one size fits all program. Instead, we find out how much work do my guys really need to do to get you where you need to be. And then we give you a specific price. And I found that's better, because that way, if you have certain things already set up that we don't have to build out for you, it's much more cost effective, right? It's much more customized. So if all we need to do is spend 15, 20 minutes chatting, and we're able to, figure things out for you. Okay. So I'd be more than happy to give you an estimate. So that's just levelupacademy.co. levelupacademy.co, and I'll be able to tell you what that investment is. All right. Okay. So landing pages. What do you recommend for landing pages? And do I need to have a website to participate? Okay, that's a great question. You don't have to have a website to participate. Do I recommend you at least have some sort of web presence? Yes, I do. At least have, even just having WordPress installed, or just having a landing page. I recommend something, because this day and age, people they want to check you out, right? They want to make sure that, if I'm going to trust a $500,000 or $1 million mortgage to somebody, I want to make sure, that you know what you're doing. I want to make sure that you're legit, right? That's generally how most people think, how most consumers think. So they're going to want to see some sort of web presence. So do I recommend it? Yes. Is it necessary? No. Will we make some recommendations on how to get one set up? Yes, because it doesn't need to be complex. Okay. All right. So great questions. Okay. Okay. How easy is it to run everything after the 8 weeks? So that's a really good question as well. And the best way I can answer that is it's different for everybody. I don't want to try to speak for everybody. You guys know I try to be as straightforward as humanly possible. So I could easily just go, oh, it's super simple. Every single, everybody has no problem. Even your grandmother. You hear people talking like that all the time, and it drives me nuts, because it's just not honest. It's not honest. The most honest answer I can give you is that it's different for everyone. I've had people come through even my most complex programs and say, wow, that was easier than I thought. And I've had people come through even my easiest of programs and go, man, I'm just not tech savvy at all. I would just rather pay somebody to do it. So people are all over the board. You can fall on either side of the spectrum. So if you feel like you're pretty much average with technical stuff, then I would say it's not going to be hard for you to maintain it, because the beautiful thing is that when we rotate ads properly, which is a technique I'm going to teach you how to rotate your ads, they're not going to burn themselves out. That's a problem that a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, that might, here's the thing, is when people get a hold of an effective ad, if you don't know what you're doing, even with the most effective ad that's making millions of dollars for somebody else, you could clone it and suddenly you're making no money off of it. Well, then how the heck is somebody over there, how is Quicken Loans making millions of dollars? You copied their loan and their landing page and you're not making any money. Well, it's because most people don't know how to rotate their ads. They don't know how to keep them fresh and relevant. I'm going to teach you how to do that so that you never have to reinvent the wheel. You can keep running the same ads over and over again without having to rebuild them. So that becomes much easier for you to manage everything on an ongoing basis, even if you're not very tech savvy. So with the right techniques, you don't have to keep reinventing yourself. Pretty cool, huh? So I'll show you guys how to do that. Now, it doesn't mean you never, ever, ever shoot another new ad, because that's if you do that, then you miss out on opportunities, right? But trust me, I'll show you some techniques that make your ads relevant all year long, so that you're always pulling in business. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So wonderful questions. Hold on here. I'm scrolling through. Okay, Chad, can you repeat the software again for the appointment scheduling? Yeah, that was Calendly. So think of it like you're saying calendar, but just a calend and an ly at the end. So calendly.com is one of them. That one's pretty good, but I like 10to8.com much better. 10to8.com is even better. Calendly is the simpler of the two. So if you just want something that's just real bare bones and you set up it in like 5 minutes, Calendly is going to do it for you. And it's good. They're good at what they do. But 10to8 is so much more feature rich, and in my opinion, looks way better than the pages Calendly spits out. And but you'll probably need to spend more like 20-30 minutes setting it up. So it's more complex in the setup, but it's a better overall product. Calendly is the easier product. If you just want something that you can hammer out in 5 minutes and have your appointment schedulers up, Calendly is the way to go. If you want something that's going to be maximum conversion and have more customization, 10to8.com is the way to go. Okay, and I'm seeing some niche-related questions too. Yeah. For those guys, yeah, because some of those are going to be questions that I'm going to need context in order to answer. So the best way is to just email that to my cweber@averagejoelo.com. All right. So I see we still got a lot of folks here on the line. Are there any questions? Don't be shy, guys. Are there any questions that I missed? Now's your opportunity, because there's still a lot of people here. So I'm thinking that I probably missed some questions. All right. So awesome, Greg. Awesome. Yes, I will see you. I will see you soon. So I look forward to chatting with you. Absolutely. Okay. What else we got? Questions? Okay, so yeah, Ron, the website is the one that I pulled up earlier with the videos. Here, let me show you. The website is levelupacademy.co. So this is where you want to go, right here. And up here at the top, as you start to scroll down, when you click the orange button, that's going to redirect you to where you can schedule your conversation. Okay, if you're wanting to take part in levelupacademy.co. So this is our last deployment until middle of the year. Okay, so this is our final deployment of Level Up Academy until middle of the year. Okay, because we only do these sessions. It's not that I want to limit them per se, but just keep in mind that we do have a lot of done for you clients, and some of them are big companies where we do a lot of very big ad spends. So just between finding time slots in our calendar between myself and Stefan where we can both collaborate and be available for you is very difficult. So we can only do a few deployments of Level Up Academy each year. So it's not that I'm trying to be a jerk and say, hey, I'm locking you guys out of this, awesome training. It's just, when you got two coaches like this collaborating together, we both have to be available. So it's rather difficult to find those slots available. Okay. So, but I hope that you make it in as one of the 4 final slots on this last deployment. Okay. Chad, what is the program you use to message overlay? So I see 2 questions here. Will all the material be accessible going forward after the 8 weeks? Yes, Ron, all of it will be put into your members area, and you'll have unlimited access to that. You can go back whenever you like. So yeah, you'll anything that's offered as training through Level Up, whether it's downloads, feedback, videos, whatever, all of it's put in the members area, and it's available to you for as long as you like. Okay, so we're not going to lock you out of it. I hate programs like, I can't communicate with you guys just how much I hate programs. I once paid $4,000 for a program, and as soon as it was up, they said, well, either you pay a monthly fee to keep access to the videos of the training that I already paid for. It's like, what's up with that? That to me is a ripoff. So no, it's available to you as long as you need it. Okay. Dennis, I saw you had a question about the software that does overlays. Here, let me pull that up here. I believe it's Rocket Link, if I'm not mistaken, because there's actually several softwares out there that do it, but I believe it's Rocket Link is the one that I was describing in the funnel. Yes, it's actually called Rocket Link. So yeah, what Rocket Link does is, and they do more than just the overlay, Dennis, but it's really a kick-ass piece of software. And it's a sort of thing, like I said, really, if you look at what everybody else is out there teaching and what everybody else is out there doing, there's a lot of Me Too stuff. But you'll notice that as you come through my webinars over time, I'm constantly introducing you guys to new concepts and new ways of doing things. And it's because you have to stay ahead of the competition. You have to differentiate yourself. And that means exposing yourself to new ways of doing things. And the sharing strategy, what I like about the sharing strategy of sharing links to articles of media, news and things that other people have written, a lot of marketers will tell you, don't do that. You're sending them away from you. You're sending them over into the hands of other people. And that's just not the case. It shows confidence on your part and shows that you're willing to give good information and send people away, even just in the name of giving them good information. But with that overlay, you now have a way to bring them back. And with your tracking pixel, you can track their activity, and the mere fact that they clicked on it and went to read it tells you there's interest there. So you're sending them to these links for multiple reasons. Number one, to see just where their level of interest lies. Number two, to build up their trust and rapport. It's like, hey, I'm willing to give you good information, even if that information comes from somebody else. But then number three, with your Rocket Link, you bring them back. It's awesome. So it's called Rocket Link as a software, but I'm not necessarily saying, they're the only guys you can use out there. I mean, I don't care who you use. There's lots of software out there that does it. I'm aware of at least four different programs out there that offer that type of a service. So just find one, and just use it. Use it. Okay. Awesome. So good questions here. All right. Let's see what else we got. Keep the questions coming. There's still a lot of people here. So keep the questions coming, guys. What can I answer for you? Is it a question in regards to traffic generation? Is it a YouTube question? Is it a Facebook question? Is it a funnels question? Is it a Level Up Academy question? Is it a conversion question? So now's your opportunity. That's what I'm here for. What else can I answer for you? I'm scrolling through, and I think there might be a few that I missed up here. Okay, so I'm pretty tech savvy. Okay, all right, so I did get to that one. So yeah, absolutely, Greg. Most people out there delivering donuts still. Yeah, everything that you learn here, that's a good point from Greg, is everything that you learn here can also be applied to realtors. These strategies do not just have to be pointed at borrowers. These work with realtors as well. Or if you say there's another referral source out there that you'd like to target, maybe you'd like to target corporations. Perfectly fine, guys. This is relevant no matter who you're targeting. Yeah, Ron, Chad, can you quickly describe the difference between the two plans? Yeah, I mean, really, they're both with the done for you. You're going to get everything that you get in the first plan as well. So you're still going to get the training. You're still going to learn how to do it. But the difference is that at the end of each session, you don't really have any homework. Okay, unless you want to roll your sleeves up, get your hands dirty a little bit. But my guys are going to take care of everything for you. But I still want you to learn, the why behind what we're doing, right? Because at some point I want you to become self-sufficient. I love when people rely on me and my team, but I want you to have the expertise, just in case, right? It's for your own good. But the difference really is they both come with pay plans. So it's not really a difference per se. It's just the price point, the investment level. But they both come with pay plans. So if you just want to break that up into 2 or 3 payments for the done for you, then you can. That is a option for you. Okay. So absolutely. That makes it very affordable, very doable, especially since you're getting results, you're getting leads within your very first month. That's the beauty of it. Okay. But yeah, the core plan, Ron, you can split up into 2 payments. The done for you, you can split up into 3. That's the difference. Okay. All right. So good questions. Let me scroll up here. Let's see. These are all. Yeah. So some of these guys, some of these questions, you'll just email me this at cweber@averagejoelo.com if it requires more context, because we'll have to talk more about your personal situation. So really the best thing to do at that point is just to go to levelupacademy.co and register for a one-to-one conversation with me so that we can dig a little deeper, because some of these questions, it's not that I'm trying to avoid answering them. It's just that it's very contextual based, and I'm going to have to ask you, some questions that you're probably not going to want to just share over a webinar with a bunch of people on it. So that's why I'm recommending the one-to-one session, so we can talk about your marketing situation. Okay. All right. Okay, folks. So I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap today's session up. I thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I hope that you found huge value out of what we've demonstrated here today. This is something that works. It works very well, and it's going to put you in a place of having a wonderful safety margin between you and your competition, because they cannot just come and knock you off here. A couple people made the comments here today about just how intimidating it can be to look at a funnel like that and go, wow, I would never know where to begin to build something like that. And that's exactly where you've gone correct, where you've gone right, where you've gone down the right path, is when you have a marketing plan set up so where your competition looks at it and goes, I can't follow that. They're not going to. They're looking for the next easy thing that they can knock off. Low-hanging fruit. You're not going to be the low-hanging fruit anymore. They're going to look at what you're doing and going, yeah, I'm not prepared to do that. They would have to really dig deep into their pocket, and they would have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money to replicate what you've created, what we've helped you create through Level Up Academy. So that's why I strongly recommend you grab one of the last 4 spots of the core, or if you want one of the done for you slots. But either way, we'll probably be sold out of both of them by the end of this week. So you need to arrange your conversation with me ASAP. So send me a message at cweber@averagejoelo.com if you have any questions, or just go to levelupacademy.co and click the button there and request your time slot. Make it a great rest of your day, guys. I look forward to chatting with you soon, and let's go make